Evening, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's a little after 9 p.m. Thanks for staying tuned to the Superstation through their 54 consecutive viewings of the Blues Brothers. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. I'm your host,
everyone.
Look, I would watch every single one of them.
100%.
I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
Hi.
He's joining me here in the top row. He was originally scheduled to have more of a spotlight this week until, Tuesday news drops. But hey,
Ooh.
we'll still get to talk lots of comics. It's rack time, Rob.
Hi, everybody.
And in the bottom row, he's the guy we call more than anybody else except Phil.
I was just flying in. Flying in. I figured I'd pop on by. Thanks for having me on, Mike and Rob.
Home from Mexico City, was it?
I was in Mexico City last week.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, I bought a G.I. Joe comic there.
Was it a Mexican G.I. Joe comic, or was it one of their import U.S. comics?
No, strangely enough, it was U.S. It was the one that's somewhere over my shoulders. The Mike Zeck Snake Eye Storm Shadow busting through the door cover. But
okay.
I another copy of that. I figured I would give it some intercontinental flair. I figured to purchase. They actually told me, guy ran the shop, very nice. Comics Mexico is the name of the place. If you're in Mexico City, check it out. Tell them Joe and Joe sent you. We chatted quite a bit, and he was telling me American comics sell much, much better than Spanish language comics. So he didn't actually have a lot of Spanish language comics. Now you know.
I was wondering, as far as back issues go, what did it cost down there as opposed to here?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, they were not cheap. Like they were solid American prices. I think because they're imports. Everything else, my take on it, I'm no expert. Yeah, tariffs is what it was. Everything down there that wasn't like an import, like wasn't an American product. Everything was super cheap. But if you were buying like a American comic book or something, that tended to be American prices.
All right. That just seems a long way to go. Considering you're in, I know you're in the tiny podunk town of make sure I'm pronouncing this correct. Los Angeles?
No, I believe it's pronounced, since I've spent so much time in Mexico, Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
The tiny borough.
One of my absolute joys in life is wherever I travel, I go to comic book shops. Wherever I travel, I try to find comic book shops just to get the flavor and get the feel. So that was definitely something that had to happen. And I followed them on Facebook before then, which is crazy. Super nice dude. Comics Mexico. Check it out.
That's.
We also did Lucha Libre. I have a Lucha Libre mask too. If you're polite, maybe I'll go grab it.
All right. We will have to remain polite then. Andrew Galgan notes that when Phil is in Goofy jail at Disneyland, Joe graciously stepped up. Phil is not in Goofy jail. He's just off this week. We don't always have Phil on the show. He's the sub-host, but sometimes we have other guests. We have a deep bench on What's on Joe Mind.
I'm the power bottom host.
Okay.
Well.
This is a very special and intimate episode of What's on Joe Mind as we probe deep into the psyche of one Joe Slepsky.
And yes, figure 6-pack, the cuisine was delicious. Totally. And like ridiculous meal for like $27 US. Like it was crazy. It was ridiculous. So it was great. We saw Lucha Libre, which was awesome.
Explain how is sitting in the crowd for a Lucha Libre show different than, say, a WWE show?
Real different. Actually, Lucha Libre. This is just again one man time. I'm not saying I'm an expert. It struck me as being so much more not bloodthirsty. Like Lucha Libre is not necessarily about generating power from the bottom. It's not so much about like physically punching someone. It was just about doing acrobats and throwing people.
Yeah.
So that I think that made a much kinder crowd, because all that crowd wanted to see was these people doing these Spider-Man moves. And they would do the same kind of moves you see in WWF, but like in WWF, like it would connect and then both wrestlers, I've watched a lot of wrestling, they hit the ground and then they come back up. Lucha Libre, mother effer, would hit a dude, spin around and land on his feet. Like that was the most amazing thing to me, is that they would do these moves and complete the landing every time.
Yeah.
So, like there was no blood, there was no like, how many times can I hurt this person? It was all about, let me put on a show. And at the end of it, they all come out, even dudes who were, enemies and fighting each other, they all come out and they pose for photos at the end of the show because they recognize this is a performance. We're here for you. You love us. We love you. Good guys, bad guys, winners, losers. It was Rebecca, of all people, loved it. And she has no time for American wrestling. Zero time for American. I'm even like, what about vintage stuff like WWF, like 80s stuff? He's like, trash. She saw Lucha Libre, fell in love.
The wrestling equivalent of Cirque du Soleil.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was amazing. It was amazing. I recommend anyone traveling there, go check out a show, and then it's awesome. So much fun.
Excellent. Josiah Alcorn with a super chat, because I forgot to turn those off again. Wants to know the Mexico City versus Tijuana comics.
Tijuana, yeah. I've never been to Tijuana. My buddy that was with us, he goes to Tijuana a lot. He says, first of all, donkey shows hit him up. Second of all, no, he actually had really great things to say about Tijuana, but I don't know what the Tijuana comic scene is all about. But in the Mexican comic scene, it seemed like there were a lot of vendors, but I think those were more like just stores that sold random one-offs. So I only found this one store, and it was super great, well-stocked, super nice dude. Oh, and there was a on Saturdays, there's a big comic convention swap meet flea market thing, but we didn't end up making it over there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Because that
he told me though. Well, I'll tell you what, the guy that ran it though was great, because we actually happened to be at his shop when it was going on. And he's like, oh, when you finish here, you want to go there? And he told us where it was. And he goes, I will call my cousin and have him go with you, because he looks at me and he's like, they'll just rip you off. I will. The guy was serious. He was gonna call his cousin down to go hang out with Rebecca and me when we went to this comic book fair, and we were like, because we had other things to do, so we were like, no, we can't. But he was absolutely going to get on the phone and have his cousin go to the comic show with us so that I didn't get ripped off. It was great. Yeah, it was great. Nice.
The big Polish guy from up north. You take him for everything you can.
Wait, what are you saying? I don't blend in?
I'm just maybe not.
I mean,
you're probably half a foot taller than everybody else, and
you're saying you're not
and bald.
You're not sending me on a stealth mission to Mexico?
No, I am not. No.
Maybe the Lower Wacker Drive, but
Lower Wacker Drive.
Yeah, we're on Lower Wacker Drive.
Hey.
But Joe Fan 84 asked, didn't Jack Black make a Lucha Libre movie? He did, and it was incredibly disappointing.
Yeah,
and I don't say that easily. Nacho Libre,
I think. Yeah.
Yes, it was incredibly disappointing. Hockey Town Arcade with the right idea for everyone. Good evening, gentlemen. Hey, chat, smash that like button. Remember to leave that big boy comment. Absolutely. See, someone understands the assignment. Big round of applause for Hockey Town Arcade. Great name, too. That's one of the better names in our live chat.
I think he might be from Detroit.
Perhaps. Craig Cohan as well. 46 watching and only 18 likes. Click the damn thumbs up. Plus, plug the damn show.
There's a question for you.
Yes.
Are they watching on StreamYard, or are they watching on YouTube right now? Or are they watching on Facebook?
StreamYard is really just for us. We are in the StreamYard room. It is being simulcast to both Facebook and YouTube.
Got it.
So we are in. We even we could pay for a more expensive package with StreamYard and stream out to even more locations, even though I don't know what those would be. except for maybe Twitch. But
It would be too extravagant. It would be too extravagant. Too much.
Right. It's too much money. Look, as it is, Streamyard almost doubled its price. So come this summer, I'm going to have to make a big decision as far as, are we going to continue with Streamyard or not?
Do you know how many eggs it costs to run Streamyard? It's so expensive. Like they're
At
like,
least
every stream that, I mean, it's a Streamyard. It's full of barnyard pimps, you know? So every yard has
maybe
pickings.
What I should do is pay for it all in eggs, because while the price may have almost doubled in American dollars, I'm probably paying less in eggs.
It's true.
You know, it's just a thought. So Joe Slepsky, it's been a little bit, man. It's
been a minute.
It's and not because it hasn't been that many shows, because we disappeared for 2 months.
Yeah, I missed you guys.
You were like one of the last shows before we went to our Christmas break, which we anticipated being 2 weeks long and wound up being like 2 months long, which isn't really bad in the scheme of things. But how were the holidays for you?
They were good. They were good. We had good times, good gifts, good family stuff, all that. It went by really quickly. For my show, I was in the middle of a hiatus, so that was refreshing. We had pre-recorded everything, so I was able to kind of ride that out. And took some time. I actually took the holidays to finally dig into some G.I. Joe product that I've been sitting on the shelf waiting to dig into. So I read the amazing Creating G.I. Joe books.
Good.
15 volumes. Klingensmith stuff.
Good.
And I swear to God, I went broke.
Yeah.
Because you read that book and you get to page whatever, and you're like, oh, that's a guy I never knew about. Because I'm not you. I don't know much. I know a lot, but I don't know like every dude past like 89. Like those dudes were not my scene.
You're not founding member of Joe Declassified Good.
Exactly.
There we go.
So I'm reading Klingensmith's book, and even the dudes that I know that I didn't know that, I wasn't familiar with it. And just the descriptions and the behind the scenes stuff on each character, I'd go, that guy's pretty awesome. Let me go check on eBay, see how much he is. I probably spent, I know I spent easily as much money on buying eBay figures than I did on his books. And his books aren't cheap.
No, they are not. That's mostly why I don't have them.
Right. So I was in a race to finish the books before I went broke on eBay buying the figures. Every volume, I was like, oh, that guy, okay, there's a random dude. So I'm like 3/4 finished with a complete Ninja Force on card collection. I've got all these late era Joes now sitting around on card. I got a complete Battle Force 2000 collection. All of this from literally reading Dan's books and going, oh, they kind of look, they do kind of look cool. Okay.
So how many consecutive nights has it been for you on the couch?
She don't know.
Oh goodness! Thank God
she
doesn't watch the show.
It's my own money, but she don't. She just shakes her head and is like, whatever. I'm like, but they're neon pink and they're ninjas.
That's how you know they're stealthy. They're dressed like that and nobody sees them.
Oh, Greg, it was hype. Thank you, son.
The latest Joe on Joe podcast episode was hype, which I think is a compliment.
Yeah, it is, and it should be, because that episode I reviewed, actually what's in my hands right now, right here, the amazing After Action Report book by Greg himself. Greg, thank you so much. I was one of your backers, and Josh Eggmean sent me a couple extra copies. So listeners, if you're hearing this, go listen to my recent episode from last week, doing a giveaway of Greg's and Josh's and Roger's books. I've got three volumes, exactly, that stuff. So I've got some stuff to give away. So give my episode a listen. You'll learn how. And this book is really dope. and I haven't finished it yet. So I don't. They're calling it Volume 1. I'm assuming Volume 2 is going to be all Cobra. Greg, can you verify that? Is Volume 2 going to be Cobra?
While Greg is verifying,
Yeah.
Jeff Butler says Slepsky knows Joe, but you can still confuse him with characters like Much and Streamyard. That's true.
Totally. Totally. Oh, I did get a new full was the Bobcat guy.
Spearhead
and Max. Yeah, I finally got a complete Spearhead and Max, which are awesome.
Greg says that Volume 2 is the other half of the Joe team.
Awesome. Are you going to do a Cobra version?
Which I knew that because Greg was on the show talking about that. But I didn't want to ruin that for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you letting the answers reveal themselves.
You're calling out to Greg to answer you, so I decided to let him do that.
I appreciate that. Well, so you got to interact with your community. You got to interact with your fans, your listeners.
And Jeff Butler had a pretty good burn on you. So.
Oh, I know that totally. No, it's true. It's true. If you told me, if you were like, yeah, in 1994 they put out Much in StreamYard, and they were oh, that's awesome, Greg, amazing. You did honestly, listeners, if you haven't picked these books up for real, go to afteractionreport.net. They're really cool. Like it's a very fun, imaginative official handbook of the G.I. Joe universe, but updating it in real time. So it's got a little bit of fan fiction, like fan, more not fan fiction, more like fan RPG of the Joe team. What would they look like today in kind of a OHMPU whatever scenario?
Right.
Yeah, it was great. So thank you, Greg, for doing that.
Greg is noting that he's on the hook for Volume 3 as Cobra.
Yeah.
Just for all the audio listeners catching this sometime next week.
Sorry.
Volume 3 is Cobra.
I get ahead of myself.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Yeah, totally. I would believe you if there was a Much in StreamYard, and they were actually, I'd be like, I would hear it as like mulch in StreamYard, and be like, they're G.I. Joe gardeners, and the one guy does the mulch, and the other guy digs the ravines to bring the water in to let plant life grow, because they're growing foliage in order to make cover for their millet. They're like, we don't have enough cover, and Mulch and StreamYard roll in, and they're like, we'll be right here. Give us 8 to 10 days, and you're going to have all the cover you need.
There was one of our regulars. He goes by the name Wreckship85. Sent me a message on Instagram. It was a photo of I'm assuming his local comic shop. It had a beachhead, an 86 beachhead on card. And it was on sale. I am not purchasing it because it is far too expensive for something that is just going to disassemble itself in the package before too much longer. But it was on there, I forget what the price was, unpunched. Which, and I my reply to that was, wow, we called him something else different here in the States. And thankfully he got the joke, but anyway.
Thank you. I'm here all the week.
Oh,
I was talking to someone who they were a video game collector, and your name came up in the conversation because this guy is collecting every copy of the Burger King Nintendo game, some promotional Nintendo game they put out called like something King, like Smash King or something like that. And my friends were talking about it, and they were like, yeah, he's like, these guys are known for the most copies of everything. I go, I know a guy.
And I've reached a point with that I need to start taking some pictures again. I have not.
Oh yeah.
I have been reticent in my duties of chronicling Beach Party 86.
You've been distracted.
I did. I've gotten my ass charmed off by those Blockies Transformers figures.
Yep. Sneak King. Viper Scout in the comments has it right. Sneak King. It's exactly what it is. Yep.
Sneak King for Xbox 360. There you go.
How
many copies does he have?
Hundreds. Hundreds. Like that's what they said.
That's his whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to get that guy and you in a room.
I mean, he'd probably have me beat if it's hundreds, but Bart says, my favorite Joe is Cheeseburger Soldier from 95. Search it out, Joe.
Cheeseburger Soldier.
Oh, totally.
It was part of their
He was
Dairy
well in
Queen battalion.
95. In 95, he would have been part of, say it with me, Extreme.
Or would that have been
Extreme?
would that? Yeah, it would have been 95.
Yeah, it would have been 95. Yeah. So
Did
here's
Extreme
Cheeseburger.
right in 95?
Here's Cheeseburger's action figure. It's just frozen like this.
Got to look angry
Still
bite.
in,
Angrier.
still in
Angrier.
package. Yeah, still in mint on card.
With the cheeseburger not removable from his hand either. It's
Yeah,
just stuck there. The other
Mint
one
on
you
card
can move-
unpunched, $3.
Oh my God! What do you say we get to the news?
Hey, news.
One thing we always do when Joe Slepsky is here, we waste everyone's time.
Oh my God, I'm best at that. I brag about it.
That was an accident. I clicked the button by mistake there. I found the button and I meant to just hover over it, and no, I just
Clicky McGee.
right. Anyways, first news item.
Do.
A replay from last week, just in case you were not paying attention or living under a rock or in Mexico City watching Lucha Libre shows. The Hasbro Pulse fan stream, originally announced for last week on February 18th, has been rescheduled for March 18, exactly 4 weeks later, exactly 3 weeks from tonight. So we got to get through Elimination Chamber, and then St. Patrick's Day, and then Hasbro Pulse live stream. Sound good to you, Joe Slepsky?
Oh, it sounds amazing to me.
All right.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait.
It's Patty's Day.
I think the last one didn't come with any pre-orders. I hope there's some more pre-orders. I realize I haven't ordered, or orders, not pre-orders, but just haven't ordered anything. I think
I have a feeling you will not be disappointed come March 18th.
Awesome.
I have a feeling that that is going to be okay.
Yeah, we may be like, why so many pre-orders?
Yeah, I think some of those digital renders we saw at the beginning of February, I think some of them will be up, to be honest.
Sweet.
Anyways, White Vegeta says New York City Toy Fair is this weekend too. I know, but that's not as funny as saying Elimination Chamber.
It's a wrestling thing, Elimination
Right?
Chamber.
Right, on a
Is
toy
that-
show. That's just not as good of a joke.
It's the wrestling.
Wrestling.
We'll probably have a whole mess of pictures from Toy Fair that we steal from other places like Surveillance Port on next week's show, but we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of which, Joe, you free next week?
I mean,
You don't.
I'm going to TF Con.
You don't have to go. You don't have to be on next week.
I'm going to TF Con.
What's TFCon?
Transformers Con, baby. I'm the only guy that goes to Transformer convention. My cousin comes into town, so I go to Transformer conventions. And so when she comes to town, we go. And I'm the only guy that leaves exclusively with G.I. Joe merchandise.
That's the place to get G.I. Joe.
I know.
Nobody's looking for it there.
Exactly. It is not the place to buy cheap Transformer stuff. But I don't really need Transformer stuff. But I always leave there with some G.I. Joe stuff and zero Transformer stuff.
Right. That's
Hey.
when you roll in there 2 hours before close and you start making deals.
Yep.
What you do.
Yep. So
Hey,
yeah,
I went to a G.I. Joe toy show and bought a Superpowers figure.
there you go.
Right. And what'd you spend for it? A lot less than you would have at a superhero show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That
If it was like Superpowers Convention International, don't expect to get stuff cheap.
It was a Steppenwolf with the comic.
right.
That's
and
awesome.
And if
Yeah.
for superpowers folks, finding those little mini comics is tough.
They
But-
really are.
And I remember at Joe Fest when you bought that, I asked you, and I don't remember what the answer was, but I remember I was super impressed by it. So that was the place.
And I promise you
and
that's
it was
that,
a good condition Steppenwolf too.
yeah, I promise you that Steppenwolf looked 5 billion times better than that crappy Steppenwolf we got in the Justice League movie, both cuts.
Oh yeah.
Goes without saying.
Just saying, throwing that out there. I watched it recently, rewatched it recently.
What'd you do that
It's
for?
the
I was building a hutch, and I knew I was going to be there for a few hours, so I hit play.
I think I would have rather had watched the video instructions for the hutch.
Well, the joke was on me.
Yeah.
The hutch, I needed it to be, couldn't be higher than 60 inches. The website said it was 43 inches. The actual product showed up and it was 72 inches. So I spent 2 hours getting to a point of building it where it finally dawned on me, this cocksucker's huge. So then I had to spend the next hour dismantling it to return it. And then I was like, well, now I'm 3/4 of the way through the Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Ugh.
I can't leave it unfinished.
No, you
You
can't.
can.
So the whole night was torture, from the hutch to the Justice League. All of it was torture.
For anyone wondering, do I watch the original cut or the Snyder cut? My vehement answer is neither.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't.
I
Just
agree.
Put them both down. Bury them both in a ditch after burning them.
Find some old episodes of Super Friends. It will be better.
Hey, I got all the I just ripped all the Super Friends on my Plex server. What?
I just got the complete Blu-ray set.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I have all the DVDs, so they're wildly out of order.
Yeah, but
I don't know what a Plex server is, Joe.
Oh, home personal streaming server. You talk to me after the show, I'll get you an invite.
All right.
Yeah, what's up? What's up? You want to watch any G.I. Joe cartoon? What's up?
Well, I can do that anyway, but
yeah, but you can watch it off my desktop. Fool.
Right. Therein lies the difference.
You want to watch Lancelot Link Secret Chimp? I got you covered.
Well, now you sold me.
I mean, you want to watch RoboCop the animated series? I got you covered. You want to watch?
I'll be busy with Lancelot Link. So
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna rip the actual monkeys now. I'll have the monkeys up there very soon.
Ooh,
yeah.
Don't forget their epic feature film Head.
Oh, Head's amazing. Yeah. Do you know why they called it Head?
No.
And I'm not joking. They said that Raffleson, literally the thought was, if they got to make a sequel, they could literally say, from the guys that gave you Head. And that is an absolute true story told by well, now it would only be Mickey. But they said that was the thought behind calling it Head, so that they could in a possible sequel.
Everybody's first band in college is named Free Beer.
Yeah.
For that totally. same wavelength right there.
Yep.
Next news item. Andrew Galgan throwing it down. Would rather watch Snyder Cut on 24-hour loop than ever watch Ant-Man, Wasp, Quantum Mania ever again.
That was pretty bad too.
That was
bad. Quantum Mania was not great.
Not great. No, that's a tough one. I don't want to think about it anymore to decide where I fall in that argument, because just no.
Either way, you lose.
Yeah. Anyways, February 20th, as you can see there on the graphic, was Hasbro's Q4 and full year 2024 earnings call. And this has people freaking out for no reason whatsoever. All it is them saying the stuff that we've already told you about in previous months. It's just most of the time people don't care about that. We do, because we're big dorks. And that, we do, it counts you guys at home as well, because we're big dorks. But no, it's nothing new. It's nothing. Just summing it up for the layman out there. But from that press release that they pushed out and is available at newsroom.hasbro.com. Today, Hasbro, a leading games, IP, and toy company, is unveiling a new strategic plan, Playing to Win, taking the company through 2027. At the heart of Playing to Win is Hasbro's mission to create joy and community through the magic of play, through play-fueled engagement and partners, play-fueled engagement, and partner-scaled co-investment. Hasbro will seek to expand its reach from over 500 million kids, families, and fans today to over 750 million by 2027. Through 2027, we expect an average of mid-single-digit revenue growth and 50 to 100 basis points of operational profit margin improvement. By 2026, Hasbro's gross debt to blah 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 blah. Anyways, big long story short, they're going to try and get out of the awful hole that was dug through for them through terrible decisions of years past, like say the E1 disaster, where they purchased that company for $5 billion and then sold it off for like $480 million. That's not
Did
such
they
a
get
great
that
deal.
much for it?
It was something like that after it was all said and done.
What was, I don't even know what E1 was. What was that?
It was their in-house movie and television studio, which they bought in Ireland and whatever.
The Irish, known for their great film productions.
So it was on the show, Joe. Glad you tuned in.
Well,
but
long-time guest host, first-time watcher.
But anyways, so that's all they're telling you here, is that they made some bad decisions and they're going to try and get out of debt while still growing the company, which is what you want to tell shareholders at a shareholder meeting.
It seemed to work. I think their stock went up.
There are all kinds of doom and gloom videos out there proclaiming that this is the end. Don't watch them. Just stop.
No, they're just stupid.
Stop. Anybody who sounds like this and dresses in a t-shirt with more than 3 hoes does not have a handle on what's going on here. So please just stop. Things are bad enough economically without somebody getting on and screaming about how Hasbro's getting out of the toy business, or Hasbro doesn't like making. No, they still make toys.
Because they're so woke, Mike.
Right.
They're so woke.
I don't even know. There's any number of reasons. But they've recently figured out to start trying to sell toys to folks our age who are hopelessly immature.
And hopelessly devoted to.
Right. They have only recently made that turn. They're not going to stop. We're the ones with money.
Yeah.
So anyways, do expect those corporate partnerships to expand, but that I'm not upset about that. G.I. Joe Mega Bloks is awesome. G.I. Joe Hot Wheels, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hot Wheels. That's a natural no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like I know they did the diecast 30 years ago, whatever, but that seems like something that just should have always been in place, man. That's a no-brainer.
I mean, last week,
so many good action figure vehicles.
We did give everyone the lowdown on an upcoming G.I. Joe vehicle in a Hot Wheels line.
Oh,
and
I don't want to give you a view. What was it?
I will give you $1. I will Venmo you $1 if you can tell me what it is.
Well, I know they're doing the Sky Striker.
All right, that's the one.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was another one. Yeah, and it looks great, but like just think about it. That just is a no-brainer. There's so many vehicles that they could do Hot Wheels toys for. That's always been like what is missing. That, and honestly, the complete crap the bed on G.I. Joe video games. Those two channels of entertainment are unforgivable.
Well, our friend of the program, Brandon Jerwa, is supposedly writing that Snake Eyes video game. So
okay,
still hard at work, in development.
Awesome.
Been for a couple of years now, but that's normal for
awesome
from scratch video games. So
I love it. I know video games take a long time. I get it. I'm just saying military shooters have been popular for, let me check my watch, 25 years
or so.
Call of Duty. And it's criminal that there is not some baseline G.I. Joe shooter. It's ridiculous. So there you go.
You like how I took the opportunity to slip into blah, 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 blah.
I need to play more G.I. Joe games.
Too corporate there. You like how I got that one?
Yeah, I like that. Ebitaba.
Right. There was a heck of a lot more to this, and I just like, we're not going past the first paragraph. It's not working out. It's not going to happen. Anyhow, next news item. Hey, this is the big news from earlier today, and we all know how I love Tuesday news drops.
Awesome. Cannot wait.
But happening this spring, summer, whatever you want to call it, at San Diego Comic-Con, it's the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dreadnoks Cold Slither Band of Vipers Tour commemorative action figure set. Price to be determined. But these guys are pretty cool. And as I said to Racktime Rob when I gave him the news when he came home from work today, I said this is a perfect exclusive because it's awesome. It's something people have been asking for, and I have no pressure to buy it. Perfect. It's right in the sweet spot. I mean, past the awesomeness. Anyways.
I'll buy 4 copies, 2 for you to ignore and 2 for me to enjoy.
All right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
If they were, I have to say, if they were doing this, and if I was getting a 4-inch version of Cold Slither, I'm all over it. I'm all over. But like as it is,
you heard it, guys. Mike wants a 4-inch Cold Slither. As
it is, I'm out of space for this stuff. There's no more room at the inn for classified.
Well, isn't Super 7 doing a aren't they doing a Cold Slither at least Zartan?
We'll get there.
Oh, sorry. Hey. I can't wait for this. I mean, this is it. This is what we've all been screaming for, at least for the last 5 years since Cold Slither had that. We've all been asking for it forever because we love it.
Right.
I feel like 5 years ago, Cold Slither got that resurgence, and people started remembering it, from their childhood. This looks awesome.
But there is Zartan with his guitar and guitar strap and looking exactly like James Kavanaugh did at the JoeCon in New Orleans.
There you go.
When he and I were at a restaurant on Beale Street, and he just passed out at the table dressed as Cold Slither Zartan.
Pictures, or it didn't happen. I love it.
If only, man.
I mean,
it was just before cell phones were everywhere. It was funny because we did that. There were some few other folks at the table too. And James and I are down at the end, and there's a seat open next to me. And a guy who works at the restaurant comes over, and he too hammered off his ass at this point because it's 2 a.m.
Sure.
Hammered, barely standing. And he looks at James, who's unconscious, and looks at me and doesn't say anything. And I look at him and I say, "It's Zartan from a cartoon." And he just kind of goes, "Oh." And then he sits down in the empty chair and passes out himself. Just perfect. It's a wonderful time.
I can't tell you how many times I've lost consciousness in New Orleans, but it's happened many times.
With James Kavanaugh, no less.
With James Kavanaugh, yeah.
I was there officially as the James Kavanaugh rescue team.
We went down to celebrate. The Super Bowl was not in New Orleans that year, but we went down to New Orleans to watch the Saints play in the Super Bowl. And what I remember is walking into the bar at kickoff, and then they woke me up when the game was over. They were like, "Saints won."
Sounds about right.
I'm also not allowed in at least one hotel off Bourbon Street.
I'm sure it's more than one.
Yeah, but at least one. I have been officially banned.
Rachel Salinas asks, "Does Zartan have Latal across his backside?" I don't think so. I'm not sure though. I have not seen a rear view of Cold Slither Zartan.
Oh man, when we were in Mexico, I was hanging out with half of the band that recorded my Cold Slither version from my episode. Yeah, shout out to Guy, who was the bassist on it, and then I was there with my boy Matt for his 50th, and he was the drummer on it. So we were talking Cold Slither down there. So this was nice timing.
Are you going to get a set and then distribute the figures to each of them?
Yeah, if I can get, I totally would. Absolutely. Yeah, I like to. I like to do that. You've been General Hawk. I like to give people
That's
who
right.
they perform.
My payment for being General Hawk in Joe's GI Columbo was a General Hawk figure.
Mhm.
He gave me a little 86 General Hawk, had the gun and everything. I still have the little card even.
Good.
And a super sticker from DR. So thank you for that. I don't know how super stickers work.
I love it. I love it.
But thank you. We appreciate you. But lots of great detail there. Diana Davis noting how they got Ripper's pants just right, and Pipper's rants as well. Yeah, no, they got they're very 80s. The vertical black stripes on the red spandex.
Yeah. So good.
So, the stuff David Lee Roth threw out. Too conservative.
Well, Cobra was broke in that episode. I'm sure they were, dumpster diving.
Right. Just following behind the Diamond Dave's tour van. Whatever fell out, they were just picking it up.
Yep.
And then we got the rhythm section back here. We got Torch and his guitar. Torch is automatically the best because guitar.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Buzzer's
and the arrow pointing to his crotch.
That's right.
Let's be clear what that arrow's up to.
That's right. That is directions for the reach around.
Anyways,
and then Buzzer and his cool ass drum set, complete with sticks. He is clearly the heavy weapons expert of the group. But
so good. This is great. Yeah, this is a long time coming. This is the kind of stuff that G.I. Joe needed to lean into a decade ago. There's such a rich history of alt versions, different, different adventures. There's so much of that from the cartoon, from the comic book, from the toys themselves. Like more of exploring these corners.
Right. It's I think the club figured it out first, right? When we started getting things like Dr. Mindbender in his winter gear.
Yeah. Or
for no particular reason, right?
Big Lob. Yeah, like they finally got a Big Lob,
Right.
Like that was it. Yeah, that's the stuff we need to be doing. I love it. I want that. Diana makes a good point. I wonder if these guys would size up to the Muppets animal drum kit set that they put out a few years ago for the Muppets toys. They might be the same size because that kit was huge. So you put Buzzer on that kit?
Oh, just imagine Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
Cold Slither and Electric Mayhem.
Yeah. Electric Mayhem, it's on, baby.
So, Ragtime Rob, out of the four, your favorite?
Oh, I think I got to go with Zartan. There's something about that swaggering, front man from the 80s. It's just,
Josiah Alcorn notes, no honcho to appreciate the chest cut on Buzzer. Look, man, they've all got it. We're at the point now. Really, it looks most obvious on Torch and his crotch pointing shirt.
But yeah, it's true.
He's pointing right to that brutal chest cut.
Figure 6-pack says they should add Zorana to do vocals. No, she doesn't seem like a singer to me.
No.
Well, how about a 2-pack of Zorana and Xandar as just backup singers? Like with microphones and this kind of a thing.
Dressed like the Pips.
Yeah, just like the Pips. You get Munchie
completely missed the memo.
Yeah, it's a 3-pack. It's those two as the Pips, and then there's Monkey Wrench as a roadie and like a roadie hoodie, with extra picks and extra guitars and stuff ready to run on stage.
Mic check.
The two of them and Monkey Wrench can sing backup for Thrasher.
Yeah.
Because I would see Thrasher as the front man of a Four Tops tribute band.
Oh, 100%.
And that's not a diss of the Four Tops, mind you. I love the Four Tops. Anyways. The 86 version of the Cold Slither tour. New opening act. Joe Slepsky, your favorite of the four?
Ripper. I think figure alone wise, I think he's got the best look. He's more complicated. He's got with the stripes, and then he's got the armbands, and then the waist sash thing. I think Ripper works for me.
I mean, all of that is valid.
They all work for me. Don't get me wrong; they all work for me. But if you're just talking standalone figures, I think he pops the most.
He's the one that says standalone 80s rock guy the most.
Yeah. He's part of my winger cosplay diorama.
He's gonna pull double duty, swing back and forth between a couple of shelves. For me, it's Torch because Keytar, and that's really it.
Well, so true.
It's all about Keytar.
So true.
Jeff Butler, you should hear their opening act, Zanzibar, and his Jimmy Buffett covers. No, that's unfortunate.
It's so true. He totally would do that.
He would. That sounds right. That sounds right.
And he would have Crystal Ball on the side doing like not singing per se, but just doing stage moves and entrancing the audience. Yeah. With the Caribbean vibe.
Or, they could always, the follow-up set to this could always be, Snake Eyes and Shipwreck in there.
Oh, yeah.
With Timber and Polly.
100% that. And what's her name? The Satin. Yeah. Yep. I know they did the smaller figures for them. They need to do those on the 6-inch.
Yeah. Boy George Snake Eyes there.
Yep.
So Joe Slepsky is in. Also, as mentioned moments ago, Super 7 has announced, or really Hasbro announced it, that Super 7 will be doing this figure. A San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cold Slither Zartan for Reaction Plus. This guy will be available for $20 starting on April 3rd at 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12:15 p.m. Eastern time for those of us on real time. On the Super 7 website, super7store.com. Special note that this one glows in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Are they only doing Zartan, or are they planning to do the rest?
All that was announced for this particular San Diego was Cold Slither Zartan.
Yeah. So a San Diego exclusive, but available April 3rd. Are they saying pre-order and pick up at San Diego, or what's I don't understand that.
My guess is it's a pre-order, but I would say, I would just say stay tuned to the Super 7 website for more details.
Got it.
That's the safest bet always, is to get this straight from the horse's mouth. And also, the beat doesn't stop there. Hasbro has partnered with Reigning Phoenix Music, a rapidly ascending record label specializing in hard rock and heavy metal, to announce the self-titled anthem Cold Slither. Dedicated to G.I. Joe fans across the world, the album presents 10 electrifying tracks that blend searing, distorted guitar riffs, pounding rhythms, and irresistibly catchy anthemic choruses. The Cold Slither album will also feature a modernization of the original track from the 1985 episode of the same name. Stay tuned and follow Hasbro Pulse for more album news on Instagram and Facebook. And then after a rock and jam sesh, fans can look forward to catching Skybound's upcoming issue, Cold Slither, The Reunion, dedicated to the greatest rock band in Cobra history. Stay tuned for more comic news on Skybound.com. Cold Slither, The Reunion, the greatest rock band reunites to rule the world, unless G.I. Joe can stop them. So this is truly a multimedia event.
Almost offended no one asked me to participate.
I mean,
however, my crippling ego problems keep that in check.
That's true. That's true. It's I hope Michael Charles Hill saw today's news.
Also that, yeah. I hope he's involved in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. More so that. Let me be very clear there. More so, I hope they get Michael involved in some form. At least like him signing a bunch of the comics and stuff.
something.
You know, something like that.
I met him at Assembly Required briefly. Really swell guy.
Such a nice guy. Really nice guy.
Good guy.
Yeah, really great.
It's difficult to be in a bad mood when you're at the one Cajun restaurant in Des Moines, Iowa, but he was having a great. Greg Augustin, Johnny on the spot, Michael Charles Hill saw it and posted on Instagram about it. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Count on Greg Augustin, unofficial staff researcher.
Totally.
Always there.
It's exciting. It's exciting. I can't wait for all this stuff. It's all great. Yeah.
No, it's great.
It's
wonderful to see. Like I said, this is the sweet spot for an exclusive, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember years ago in the 25th anniversary, like they made Jinx the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, Jinx and Zorana. Yeah.
And Zorana. And not just weird versions of them, not repaints or anything. Like it was the only place you could get them.
Yeah.
Because somebody convinced someone in the front office that, it's they're not gonna buy the lady figures. They don't want them. We'll just make them con exclusives. I gotta not do that because that loosened everything up in my sinuses. Pardon me.
Well, I do think if I were a betting man at some point after the Cold Slither wave crests, like next year, or 2 years, however long, I do think they should be giving Worlds Without End a similar treatment. Similar love in that regard. Give me a Steeler, 6 Steeler,
right? Steeler with the purple eye.
yeah. All that, like all this, skeletons of Joe's. Yeah, the Joe skeleton set. Like, give me that. Was it Dreadnoks and cop uniforms? Right.
Right.
Like I think that is the next iteration of the cartoon that deserves this type of love and treatment.
2-time All-Pro first teamer quarterback Steve Young says, there we go. Sorry, I missed him. Sorry, Mike, it has become a has to get with that awesome guitar. And, the more I look at it.
Yep. Yep. The only thing would have been better is if I don't see any of them with a skinny necktie.
They weren't that kind of band, man.
No, I know they weren't, but you give them a skinny necktie and then put keys on the necktie. Now you're talking 80s rock.
It's not their that's not their band.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying.
It's not their band.
Just saying.
Give that to their manager, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was their manager? Did they have a manager?
That's Cobra Commander. I think it was.
It was probably Cobra. Yeah. I think in my show, I think it was shit. I don't know if I covered who the manager was.
So somehow that stream
kind of the
on
twins, I think.
That stream on YouTube, they do not have Cold Slither in the rotation on that one. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I will maintain that the guitar is the greatest instrument ever devised by men. And that's what we call a reckless hot take.
The most reckless of hot takes.
We had to get that in there, right? I can't have a snippet with Cold Slither Ripper and not play it.
The guitars look awesome, and I know they're screen accurate, but I just had the thought, how great would it have been for one of those guitars to be like a 5-necked guitar? That would have been amazing in this set if they did someone with the angular one and someone with the guitar and then someone with at least 3 necks on their guitar. At least 3. Yeah, that would have been pretty great.
How does anybody play one of those?
I don't know.
You don't. It's just for show.
Yeah, exactly. I think I asked a musician that once, and they said, "Yeah, it's just for show. You pick one of them, and it's just a regular guitar, but it looks like you have 5 other guitars ready to go."
Oh my god. Yorktown Joe says, but they signed the music rights to the Twins in perpetuity.
That's true.
Look,
Probably, yeah.
everybody's
That's true.
got
They did on my show. Yep.
Everybody's got a price. So
yep. Say it together. In perpetuity. Yep. They weren't sticklers on reading the fine print.
I guess not.
No.
Look, I mean, if you look at the file cards, half of them aren't reading anything.
Next news item.
Wasn't Buzzer a Rhodes Scholar or something?
He was a actual graduate student or professor at Cambridge.
Or Cambridge. That's it. Yeah.
On the cartoon, he was illiterate.
Well,
which should have been tortured.
We covered that too on my show. They were very upset with how they were portrayed in the cartoon. Yeah.
Cobra's candidate, this Crimson Guard, hands him the note from Cobra Commander, and his reply is, buzz off. Cobra Commander knows I can't read. Maybe that was just a smart-ass Dreadnought answer. I don't know, but Storm Shadow was there to do all the ciphering.
Oh, that's a pretty cover.
Ciphering.
And then from Skybound this week, tomorrow, February 26th, G.I. Joe Real American Hero 314 hits your happy newsstands. Written by Larry Hama, pencils by guest penciler Andrew Cranky. I hope he's not terribly cranky. And colors by Francesco Segala. I'm just moving right past the pun. Rated T for Tomahawk. That's right there. You got Tunnel Rat jumping out of the side of the helicopter. Tripwire's back there somewhere. I forget who else is in there. I can't see close enough.
I can't make it out. I'll tell you tomorrow when I get the thing.
Right?
It's like Wild Bill's in the cockpit.
What's a girl? I don't know who the girl is. Who is that?
Oh, with the robot arm.
Yeah.
Sherlock.
Thank you. I forgot.
There you go. Man, I'm here for all these Andy Kubert covers, though, man. Oof.
Yeah.
I love the I'll call it like the fisheye that he puts on so many of his covers. There's just this round distortion on it that I really think is just impressive, and it pops, and it just warps the cover, without distorting it, like everything's in proportion, but it just brings your eye into focus on something. In this case, like Tunnel Rat's arm and face. I really dig his style for these covers.
And the bottom of his Crocs.
Yeah. Well, those aren't Crocs.
Come on now.
Those are bat boots.
It was just fun to call them Crocs.
I thought you were saying. I thought you were going to say crotch. They were going to say crotch. Also would have worked.
I would have used the more ambiguous term batch.
I would also be willing to bet that because he's a tremendous penciler, that Tunnel Rat's butt and crotch were a little more rendered, and during the editorial process they smoothed it out for this photo. Just going to throw that out there because
erase some of them lines.
Yeah. Because he's a talent, and he would absolutely be a little more detailed in that area. But I have a feeling editorial came in and went smooth.
He'd have been
Yeah.
bothering our assistant, our friend Diana Davis.
Yes, exactly.
With, detailed. Is Tunnel Rat circumcised?
Yeah, is he cut? And Diana would
need to know.
She would know, and she'd be like, "I will not stand for the erasure of Tunnel Rat circumcision."
Oh. Firefly says, hope you didn't miss the other 3 Super 7 Reaction Plus reveals. Arctic Cobra Commander, Cartoon Wild Bill. Oh, I'm on there. And Cartoon Storm Shadow. Sent you an email this afternoon. You know how Tuesday news drops go, man.
That's awesome.
I absolutely have not looked for that email yet. So,
but those two things are unrelated. There were the drops, but the email he sent you was just a dick pic.
Well,
all right.
They're unrelated.
Was it a picture of Dick York or Dick Sargent?
Yeah, exactly. It was actually both.
Knowing Firefly, probably both.
Yeah,
probably in a state of undress. But and Diana Davis, I do know. I don't doubt it, ma'am. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it at all.
Oh, wait, there's a correction.
Sorry, not Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes. Well, get it together, man. You can't be more disorganized than me. Anyway. Yeah, so we anytime you have a day where there's a lot of Tuesday news drops, I'm going to go for the big ones first, and other stuff is just going to have to get partitioned out to social media, and then we'll catch it next week. So I figured San Diego was just a big enough deal, and by the time I got all that stuff ready, we were out of time. As it is, we're stopping. We started, what, 20 minutes late today? 30? I don't even know anymore.
We'll do it live.
Right. Honcho style. So anyways, Real American Hero 314, that is tomorrow at your local newsstand. Be sure to pick that up. Next news item. Some Skybound bits. We got nothing next week. And then on March 12th, both Transformers 18 and Void Rivals 17. Somehow Transformers has slid ahead of Void Rivals in issue count. But then you remember that Robert Kirkman's writing Void Rivals, and there you go. Got some other stuff. Michael Gene Fleming says, hate to go, but bed call so I can go to work in the morning and get the money to purchase all the cold Slither items. Night, y'all. Well, I mean, we appreciate that, man.
Thank you for joining us.
In, right?
It means a lot.
I know Joe talks so much. He gets to be a little bit tough to listen to, but we appreciate your making up a mistake. We appreciate you making up an excuse.
You know what you're getting into when you invite me on your show.
I know.
There is no bones about it. I will. Am
I doing this just to torture our longtime guests? No one will ever know.
Do you think my wife wants to talk about anything? I don't have anyone to talk about this stuff on my own. I can't talk about any of that. I can't turn to my wife and go, guess what they announced today? Cold Slither and Arctic Cobra Commander. She cares more about Lucha Libre than this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is it.
Look,
You're my outlet.
Lucha Libre is living and breathing art, man. So don't be.
It's very true.
Don't be trying to harsh or mellow.
Very true. Trying to think where I put my mask.
Bart asks, is Joe the bald honcho? Joe is the balder honcho.
Oh my.
Hi, Mark. Oh, I wonder if he's catching the recording on that.
Oh my.
Just plain old Jay asks, Joe or Phil? At least Joe isn't at Disneyland. I don't think Phil's at Disneyland either this week.
I've never been.
You've never been to Disneyland, Joe?
Nope. I've been to Disney World back in the day. Never been to.
Joe,
I live an hour away. Never been. What the F am I going to do at Disneyland? I've kidnapped all the kids I need to kidnap. What do I need to do at Disneyland?
It doesn't matter, man. You live in Los Angeles. You got to
get on the 405, Mike, and we know what that is.
Oh, it's jammed. It's jammed. Phil says, I resemble that remark. Well,
hey, yeah, there he is.
He resembles that remark on Space Mountain.
Thank you, Yorktown.
Yorktown Joe says that I love when Joe is a guest, and he should autograph copies of his Behind the Rock episode for San Diego. You should put the audio for that on some CDs.
Yeah, probably should.
Just do that. Do that as a giveaway.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Buy a table at one of the, maybe one of the SoCal Joe shows and just give those away.
Yeah, that'd be fun. CDs or little MP3 little drives.
Yeah. Doug Dello says, my wife said excitedly to me tonight, so what's on Joe Mind Show, isn't it? So she can go work in the other room and not feel guilty. I would counter that, Doug Dello, by asking, why isn't Mrs. Dello watching?
Exactly.
Did you tell her I was on? I mean, what's up?
She's on the Christmas committee. Come on now.
What's up? I don't go to Dodgers games. Are you kidding me?
Diana Davis,
baby.
always here to correct traffic. You don't need the 405 to get to Disneyland.
That's
it
true.
doesn't matter.
Maybe Joe lives on the other side of the 405 from Disneyland. I don't know.
I don't know where I live. I got so lost in Mexico City. Every time someone they would drop a pin in our maps, and I would go the opposite direction. Like
It's a
3
grid,
times.
It's a grid.
No, and everything's named very similar names, especially when you don't speak the language. Oh my god, I got so lost. I was so frustrated.
Like Atlanta, in other words.
Yeah,
Where
they gave me the name of the bar. I dropped it in Uber, Ubers are great on there. They're really easy to use. But I dropped it in Uber, and there were 2 choices. I chose poorly.
I guess wrong. I'm at the corner of Uno and Uno.
Yeah, they're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm heading to whatever the name of the bar was. They're like, "No, we're at the other one." But the good thing is, it literally costs like $1.28 to get back. Not even joking. So no complaints. It was just frustrating because everything took longer because I'm a dope.
Live like a king down there.
In Atlanta, every street is named Peachtree. So
yeah, yep.
That's the problem. Next news item. Remember, if you've got a hankering for pre-production photos, visit our friends over at the Surveillance Port. They got you set up.
Hey,
we don't do a whole lot of that stuff on this show because we only got a couple hours, so we'd be here all day if we dragged out all the images of upcoming figures that we've already shown you pictures of every time we saw new pictures. But we understand that is newsworthy. I'm not criticizing the effort that Eric puts into the Surveillance Port at surveillance-port.com. It's just, man, you're not getting the full experience from us talking about it. Just head over that way and consume those pictures at your leisure on a daily basis, because he posts something new every day. Surveillance-port.com. I've got the cruds tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
And then, of course, the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast presents Chunky Tank Kitty and his Meowler Tank.
Yay.
Be sure, I have ideas for this year's project. I have to get some ducks lined up before we can start skimming them off the pond.
Did G.I. Joe ever do a duck boat? That would have been great. A G.I. Joe duck boat like they have in Wisconsin. The APC is close. Like, don't get me wrong, but a G.I. Joe duck boat would have been awesome.
I want a G.I. Joe duck wrangler.
Yeah,
you shoot tennis balls at one another.
Yeah. Go in the water up on the highway. Yeah,
everybody's dog jumping in after it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But be sure to tune in to the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast as Mark, Mike, and Archwan. That's a lot of weirdly placed R's, but they've been getting together most every week, either Saturday or Sunday, putting together new material. If 3D printing is your hobby, you don't have a better show to listen to than the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. You can find their channel down at the bottom of our channel page. We're linked up with them. We watch them every chance we get. I do anyway. I don't know about Racktime Rob. He kind of sucks. And we know Joe doesn't watch nothing.
Oh, I don't have time, man.
I know how it goes though.
I'm too busy reading my after action reports and going, oh, I need to get that action figure. Hold on. Right. $50 later. Here's my Flint version 4 Battle Core.
Right.
The Desert Paratrooper.
Oh yeah. I finally got a General Hawk with the spacesuit. Finally got him in my collection.
I like both of those figures. But
yeah, they're cool.
But it's difficult to find time to listen to other people's shows when you're putting together your own, right?
It is
tough.
It is. Yeah. Life's busy.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
So I guess before we come back to loop back around and grill Joe Slepsky on what he likes and dislikes about Skybound comics so far, let's take a stop and take a moment and listen to our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
So a couple weeks ago, I got an email. Somebody asked me, hey, Mike, you've been playing that same Kokomo Toys ad for like 2 years now. What's up with that? Why don't they make more ads? And Todd makes lots of ads for Kokomo Toys, but he uses licensed music in all of them. So I can't switch it up at all without demonetizing the whole damn thing.
May I tell them to use, I'm not even joking, tell them to use, it's called CapCut. And there's an option on there that uses that'll throw licensed unlicensed music on it. It's for TikTok. It's like the TikTok companion one. So if you're going to use it for paid ads, you can just grab and you throw any music in there and just be like, give me something that sounds like Pirate's Adventure. And there's a zillion options. Tell them to use CapCut. That, yeah,
right. If it's Todd, it's going to be give me something that sounds like Huey Lewis.
Sure, they'll have it, and it's totally free too. I use it for my corporate job. So
I need to sound like Huey Lewis, but not the news.
Fuck them news.
Screw the news.
But and the other email I've gotten the last couple of weeks is the one that asks me why we don't show up and display. Why aren't we guests at more shows? And it's because you're writing me emails to ask that. Write the people who run shows. Tell them, hey, we'd like to see what's on Joe Mind at our show. Maybe
I'd love to go to a show.
Right. Maybe we can bring what's on Joe Mind to your show with special guest Joe Slepsky from Joe on Joe podcast.
It would be my dream to split a table with the fellas at What's on Joe Mind. That would be an amazing dream.
We would all go home hoarse because we would be talking and laughing the entire time.
I would have an aneurysm.
Right. Sniper. No, just
I would probably just randomly buy every beachhead in the shop at the show just to give to you. Just for no other reason. Like, is it your birthday? No, I found a beachhead.
Hide them.
Even better. Yeah, Mike's like, I can't find any beachheads at this show. They don't have any beachheads.
What you don't know is that all I have to do is just kind of do the force thing like Darth Vader, and they're all drawn.
It's true. It's very true.
If they weren't already all right here within 5 feet of where I'm sitting, that would have been a lot more destructive. But anyways, also what you can do to help us out the most, those little buttons in the middle of the area down below there, underneath Joe Slepsky. He's sitting on them, keeping them warm like a duck with eggs.
They've been more than warm. They've been in my pocket.
Anyways, click them all the same. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. About 30% of you last week that watched the show are not subscribed to the channel, and that just blows my mind. Because the algorithm has already caught you watching us once. So it's going to keep recommending us to you for the rest of your life. So you might as well just subscribe to the channel. If you're catching us on Facebook, be sure to give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy.
So here's a little funny. I for my corporate job, I just am usually logged into my corporate YouTube account. But the YouTube account for this corporate job that has nothing to do with G.I. Joe, the algorithm only shows G.I. Joe videos because that's usually what I'll throw on. I'm like, right, random, top 10 G.I. Joe figures from 1992, like those kind of videos. So if anyone were to take over after me, there is nothing pertaining to our business that the algorithm is recommending, but only G.I. Joe stuff.
But really steeped in G.I. Joe lore.
Yeah, and I have to watch out what I like or comment on. I have to remember I can't really, because I'm logged in as the company.
And Dennis Fleming, as always, will bring cake. We look forward to that because Dennis Fleming, he makes the hell out of some cake. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. If we go anywhere, I got to buy the got to buy the Rubbermaid, cake
Yes.
coat.
We will be prepared this time.
Yeah.
We will be prepared. That means we're gonna have to drive because we can't fly with one of them, man. That's just too much empty, wasted space. Anyways.
Yeah. That chocolate marshmallow thing that he's talking about. Yeah, we ain't sharing.
Any G.I. Joe themed cake needs to be created by Roblox grandma. Roblox grandma sent this.
Sure, but the Gunny gets a pass, and he's won it on merit. So
awesome.
We will hear no arguments. Gunny hit us up with a cake last year at Joe Fest. It was incredible. Joe Slapsky.
Yeah.
Let's talk Skybound.
Oh, I love it.
So
which corner do you want to cover first?
Well, I suppose let's just start with your general thoughts overall. What's hot? What's not? What do you like? And this is not just limited to the Joe stuff. Obviously, we want to hear your thoughts on Real American Hero. We want to hear your thoughts on Energon Universe. Let's start with Energon Universe just because it's new.
I love it. I love where they're going with it. Criticism, I think Kirkman is too used to writing Walking Dead quiet narratives. I don't think that works well for Void Rivals. It's just too quick of a read. That's, you know what I mean? Versus the long slog of a zombie apocalypse, and I say that recognizing he's a talented writer and all that stuff. When I read Void Rivals, it's just too light, especially for something where there's your world building. We don't know a lot about this world.
Right.
There, you know what I mean?
That's one of the criticisms I have on Void Rivals too, is that I think there's a lot of things that are being left unsaid simply for the sake of mysteries.
Yeah.
And, they're mysteries that we don't care about, right? We want to see more about the conflict that's at the heart of the story. We want to see more about how it ties in with the Transformers part of the universe. We want to see it start to tie in a little bit more with the G.I. Joe part of the universe. It's just kind of the third wheel. And it's a lot of it, I think, is pacing too.
Yeah,
had me. It reads better as a trade.
Yeah, totally. Which is how Walking Dead did, right?
Yeah.
So those Walking Dead compendiums, you fly through them because they are well done. But that, I think, that works better in that kind of, doom gloom, world is ending, you're stuck with these same characters, then someone's going to die kind of way, versus you're building this expansive universe, something new. I want more explosive ideas. I just want more action. I don't want to say action per se, but more literary detail. Let's put it that way.
Maybe just a little bit more exposition here at the beginning.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of a feel for the world that's happening to know that something doesn't feel right, or something is on the horizon, or it's this totally foreign entity to us, and we have no stakes in it.
Correct. It's why. I mean, it's why stories like this traditionally are told with we'll just say a Kitty Pryde, where normally this would have had, and it, at one point they introduced a Transformers, so you're like, that's my hook into this universe, but then they left him. I forget who it was, but and then he left, and then they brought in Pythona and all that stuff. But traditionally, these stories typically have a Kitty Pryde type character who's new to the world, so all that exposition, you can see it through their eyes. They do it, it's a at this point it's a tool, so you do see a lot. So I appreciate that they're trying not to do that, but you do see why that helps the viewer so
why
much.
It works.
Yeah, it does a lot of that heavy lifting for the reader.
Rack time, Rob. You look ready to. You're chomping at the bit here.
No.
All right then. Never mind. Figure six pack says
Slavsky said it all.
Would Kirkman's influence help create a cartoon series for G.I. Joe like he did with Invincible? I hope so.
Yeah, sure.
That was one of the things that got me the most excited about Skybound winning that license, is that somewhere down the line, if G.I. Joe was successful as a comic, maybe G.I. Joe will be successful in the animated form again, and it's been pretty successful as a comic.
Yeah.
So let's move into strengths, Joe Slepsky. I know let's get G.I. Joe last because we know we're going to get to that. But real quick, your dime's worth of thoughts on Transformers.
Love it. Love the grittiness of it. I know that they've had a few artists, but they all tend to capture that.
Yeah.
Just like living metal, but not liquid living metal, which I appreciate visually. It's just this mechanical janky universe, like when they punch, like it's really breaking off a giant hunk of metal, with gears and with pistons and stuff, and then magically they get repaired, and I'm 100% fine with that. I think that's awesome. I think there's a heft and a weight to the artwork that they've managed to do for 17 issues that is absolutely just integral to the stories they're telling. I love the body count. I know some people have been bothered with it. I've seen a little bit. I love the body count because they're Transformers, so they have sparks. You can revive sparks at some point. There is always that from a comic perspective, but they have such a deep roster. Make room for some of these deeper dudes, which they are. They kill a guy, but then they bring in 2 more new dudes. And as a longtime Legion of Superheroes fan, I know there's only room for so many characters in a comic book. So realistically, you're not going to tell a 1,000 issue story with these guys, so you have time to cover all these dudes. Go through some bodies and get to your deep cut bench Transformers. I don't know if they're going to take that same route with the Joes, because they have also a million characters too, but they don't have that spark to revive them. But with Transformers, I don't have that sense of finality, so I like it. And it's also very, very mirroring the cartoon, which for me is my touchstone for Transformers, which was all about energy and all about this planet and how do we mine this planet? How do we do schemes on this planet to get back to Cybertron? So that's, spot on.
Ragtime Rob.
The thing I like most about Transformers is characterization. Optimus Prime is that noble character that that his tech specs always said he was.
You mean he's not the gun happy sociopath from the movies?
No, strange habit. Although, if you realize, I think that Megatron arm is doing things to him. Which is also a nice twist that I like on that. Which is also basically a real twist we get to play for it with Megatron. When he finally
he's coming back soon, yeah.
But the characters that there's Alita 1 and her crew who feel like they've been left behind, and that's a natural, thing. And Starscream's just nuts. And Thundercracker's like, what the hell are we doing this for? So they're all characters, which, the Marvel, my experience with Transformers was only the Marvel comic from back in the day. And they weren't characters in that Marvel, because unfortunately I think the Transformers comic was more beholden than G.I. Joe was to introducing everybody. And they were running out so many characters. You had so many, you literally had nobody in the end.
Yeah, the old Transformers animated cartoon, my issue there is that except for Starscream, you didn't have a ton of characters on the Decepticon side, and I like how they've got some variation to them. Like even poor almost doomed Skywarp trapped in Teletran 1, spoilers.
Yeah. I love that.
Like he was he was played pretty close to what the back of the toy box said back in the day. He wasn't not the smartest guy, but loyal and an effective soldier, and that's kind of what he was until they decided they need him for parts. That's rough, man. That is rough. And we'll see what happens there. It's kind of, it seems to be a very specific point that they're not discarding as easily as I was afraid that they were going to. As far as the body count goes, it's been my one complaint. Not that there isn't one at all. It just seems like they're burning through some I don't want to call them major characters, but at least recognizable characters. And I don't know. There's a deeper bench to go to if you want some of these guys to just show up and die. Right?
Yeah.
Like
but how we are all used to so many times, like you would see your core crew and then be like, here's the new guys, let's welcome Battle Force 2000, and you're like, I know Battle Force 2000 is going to die, because they're not going to kill Snake Eyes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I like this, they're mixing it up of like, yeah, here's the new guys, some of the OGs just died, okay, new guys, come on in,
Right.
But then you're left with the pretenders.
Right, but like what I'm saying is they showed up. You get like Cup and Huffer and like they just like there's guys. There's other guys you can go to besides them.
Yeah, they'll get to them though.
There's better stories to tell with Cup and Huffer that have actual personalities from the lore and other places. Like, okay, you take out Huffer and put in Hubcap or somebody lame like that. You just so everybody go, hey, there goes Hubcap. Oh, he's dead. And that kind of works because that's all they ever were, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different when you do that with a Huffer or with a Cup or with a Ramjet or just these characters that kind of show up and then 2 pages later,
2 panels later.
Yeah. I thought they did that with Trailbreaker. I about lost my crap.
So it sounds like you've got a deep character, old school vibe love for these guys. Like were you a big TF guy when you were a kid?
Not a ton, right? Like I have my favorites like everybody else does.
Yeah.
But I think it's just more a recognition that everybody is somebody's favorite, right? I know it was one of Mark's things that he said on the show all the time was that everybody's somebody's favorite. So you have to respect that. And I just think that some of these, we'll call them disposable characters, maybe would have been better served to have more of them be from the deeper part of the bench.
Yeah. But, like there's also the theory of and I know they're not doing deep character arcs on Huffer and then killing him, but like,
right.
Like you love Peter Parker, and if you really love Peter Parker, the story you write for him is going to ruin his day. Like if you really love that character, you're going to give him the worst day imaginable.
Right.
And he's going to see it through. So they're doing that. There's, if they were to honor the everybody's favorite character side of it, then you got boring stories, but like, I love what they did with, I forget which one it was, but the guy who happened to have landed early and had been on Earth for hundreds of years and loved nature is a Sunstreaker.
Beachcomber.
Beachcomber. I love that. That's so cool.
Yes.
Like, yeah, all of that, more of that.
I love that
it's so great.
He hitched a ride back to Earth on an Apollo module, and no one noticed.
Yeah.
Those things are not real big.
Yeah,
matter distortion.
He's making that at least twice as heavy. At least twice.
More.
But and not to say that they should never use that device. It just feels like we're 16 issues in on Transformers, and maybe we've used that enough for the first 30 issues.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Joe.
Okay.
By some metrics, the most fleshed out and the least fleshed out of the 3 prongs of the Energon universe. In that I think we've got individually deeper characters, but the story is the one that's progressed the least in terms of the overarching story.
And just because of time.
Yeah, and that's how they set it up, right? The way this universe goes is a lot of this nonsense gets pushed into action by the arrival of the Transformers on Earth. So that's gonna be the one that takes the plot lead early on in the go. So, Joe Slapsky, your thoughts on what's gone on in G.I. Joe Maine at this point? I know the last time you were on, we talked a little bit about the miniseries.
Yeah,
don't necessarily have to recover all that, but let's
talk
regular Joe.
Yeah, so far so good. Rest in peace, Rock. That was shocking, you know, but it paves the way for a roadblock. But
Rob, what was your reckless hot take on that one, Rob?
Oh, that they
wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Reckless hot take. Harvest his carcass for overkill.
That's right. You heard it here
harvest
first.
His carcass for what?
Overkill.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. His body is left on Mars premises.
Although they've technically already burned the Overkill name as the satellite from Destro's thing, but so.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's going to get AI, by the way.
Yeah,
that's going to come to life, and no, I think it's I think so far so good. Trying to think what happened in the third issue. I know it had Baroness on the cover, and I know that Duke fought that new guy whose name I can't remember.
Risk.
It was Risk. Yeah, it was kind of a jag off. Which is great. Like, bring it. Yeah. And then the Baroness was Snooty. So that like that. I love it. I love what Cobra's doing. Basing they're bringing in all the futuristic technology based off the Transformers. A lot driven from the cartoon, a lot driven from the toys, but it's melding that and giving them the. Shirley's very excited about it too. And it's giving them that edge. I think Destro setting himself up. Cobra Commander is amazing. The way didn't he killed that one guy who was posing as a
law assassin?
Yeah, that dude, that was awesome. That was really great. So I no complaints. I like the world building they did in the 4 stories. I would wager it sounds like, because didn't they announce they're doing something special again with the silent interlude? Aren't they re-released?
That's for the Real American Hero book.
Yeah, but they're calling it like Silent Interlude Month or something.
Yeah, Silent Interlude.
Yeah. My Spidey sense tells me that might be the month they introduced G.I. Joe. Diana Davis, don't spoil it for anyone, but I would guess that maybe they're timing that with the introduction of Snake Eyes into the other G.I. Joe one. Just because, why not? We got to get to him at some point. But Greg
Augustin, our chief researcher, Silent Missions.
Yeah, Silent Missions, right. No, I think it's great. I think setting Destro up as kind of the main power player with Cobra Commander as a manipulative force. No complaints. And then the Joe team's coming together too.
This last issue of Joe, though, I think Destro realizes. I think Destro thought he was on much firmer footing than he actually is.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Destro just realizes.
Yes, I totally
may have
agree.
underestimated this kook. Yeah.
Yep. And the factions that the twins are their own faction. They're not just dupes. Like they had their own. They're not super strong. They're not great, but they have some cachet in that crew.
Right. There's a little bit of a fish out of water character to flavor to them at this point. Like I think they too got shown up pretty early that they were not on the footing that they thought they were on, and now they're trying to throw their support behind this Cobra enterprise, and I think they don't quite know where they are in the pecking order, and the answer to that is pretty low.
Or at least lower than they'd like.
Right. Destro is almost the hero of that book, isn't he? Until you realize he's just trying to take over the world too.
Yeah.
Totally.
You have to just keep reminding yourself of some of this stuff,
Mm-hmm. But, and it's smart. They've really done with all these characters. They've looked at how Larry has built them up, and they've really gone like a 180. Where Cobra Commander is a little bit more sniveling. this Cobra Commander is badass. Destro's a little more honorable and like, yeah, I'll partner with the Joes if it's for, you know, the betterment of the world. This Destro's like, I just want to run everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got more of that than Larry's Destro does. And I think that's very smart of them to make those creative choices.
Yes. It's they've made them feel familiar while keeping them pretty distinctive.
This Cobra Commander feels like the Red Skull, and Destro
Yeah.
feels like Doctor Doom.
Yes. Very good observation. And the twins are Batroc, are both Batroc the Leaper.
Man.
Batroc and Cortab.
Yeah, that's it. Greg Augustin said, I agree. If they're going into space, they absolutely need to bring some Star Brigade armor.
Oh yeah, for rock and roll.
Yeah, you have to do the Star Brigade armor, but also if they're in space and all that stuff, as long as we're doing the silly, you need to bring in those 1994 those aliens and like the monsters and the monsters.
Oh my god,
the figures that flipped with their faces in the belly, like
the lunatics aliens.
Yeah,
you
need Empire. To. If they don't do that whole storyline as just this thing in space, it's a complete missed opportunity. They don't even need to cross over with the G.I. Joe. Just have them fight Transformers in space or the Void Rivals or whatever that is.
Void Rivals. They'll run into Cobra Law.
Oh, they need to do those dudes and the Predacon and all the craziness from 93, 94.
Oh, they'll have Lobotomax.
Lobotomax.
And his twin brother, Zemaudible.
Yes. Those guys absolutely need to be done, because if not now, there's never will be an organic reason to ever do those things. They need to be done now in the Skybound universe. I am so wholeheartedly for this. It's another thing I had the thought of when I was going through Klingensmith's book of like, all these dudes need to be a part of the Energon universe. All of them. All of them.
Poor Springer and Hot Rod run into the bottom all.
Yes. And the guys, and his body flips open and his face is like, then his belly goes back in. Like, oh my God. Yes. I was this close to pulling the trigger on like $100 sealed versions of those dudes because they're insane. And then I was like, I can't do that. I can't spend that much money on those dudes, but they're amazing and they need to absolutely. So Diana, please tell the team 100% if they're not thinking about this, get those dudes into the Void Rivals world. 100%. 100%.
Rack time, Rob, your thoughts on G.I. Joe Energon style?
This book moves.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It is. There's no soliloquizing in this book. It is all killer, no filler.
Here we go. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Lunatics, Manimals, and Replicants. Oh my.
Oh my. Manimals.
That's
and so you whatever storyline they have from there, the Fatal Fluffies hitch a ride to Earth. And then they get adopted by the Dreadnoks. That's how Fatal Fluffies end up on Earth. Like they hitch a ride with Pythona, right?
She's like Joe's bad Gremlins copy.
Yeah, and she's like, I gotta get back to Cobra Law in a hurry. And these little Fatal Fluffies, she's like, oh, you're so cute. Why don't you guys come with me? And they're like, okay, and that's how we get Fatal Fluffies on Earth.
Oh boy,
it's writing itself.
Yeah,
the pod ship crashes in Cobra Law, and out just come the Fatal Fluffies.
Yeah, totally. And then there's an infestation. Yeah. And think about it. One of the variant covers is Globulus in all his glory, surrounded by the Fatal Fluffies like Kirk with the Tribbles. That famous picture of Shatner, just surrounded by Tribbles. It's that picture, but it's Globulus. Yeah, it's Globulus with all these Fatal Fluffies just going like, murr, murr. That's your variant cover.
Somebody close this door.
Okay. All right.
And then just like in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, we use some of the fatal fluffy blood to bring rock and roll back to life.
There we go.
It's all happening.
I mean, why? What else would you use it for?
And then rock and roll. Anyway,
I'm just gonna mute that real quick. And yeah. Okay. Mental note. Be a couple months before Joe comes back.
Hey, they can use these ideas. This is gold. I'm not copywriting any
Gold,
of this.
Jerry,
This is
gold.
This is creative gold, Jerry. Oh, don't even get me started on my Ewoks versus Jawas idea. Don't even get me started.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I might want to see that. Anyways,
I totally want to see that. It's like Aliens versus Predator. The Jawas. I'll just say it. I told David Pepos about this years ago. I'm like, David, you got to do this. You're working at Marvel now. When the second Death Star blows up, the word gets out that Endor is just full of scrap, right? So a bunch of Jawas hitch a ride on a ship and they go to Endor to do a bunch of scrapping. And Ewoks treat the Jawas like the aliens. So the Ewoks are like, all these aliens are on our planet trying to scrap our stuff. And so you get EVJ. And it's a war on Endor, just like Aliens versus Predator. It's like, whoever wins, we all win because they're adorable. I'm telling you. And like, and at one point, Wicket,
bloody warfare of all time.
Check this out. At one point, Wicket's in a Jawa outfit, and he's all like this, and you see just this sneaky Jawa, and Wicket, like the light comes up, and you just see this Jawa pull his hood back, and you're like, oh my god, it's been Wicket the whole time, and he holds his staff, and he goes nub, and then he starts whipping ass, And he's like, yeah, Houdini! And he's just whipping ass. And it's all there. It's all there. Talk to me. I got this all written down.
And then to get like the Terminator aspect, you just have like R2 units come in. I mean,
oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah, there's droids involved. Totally.
So moving to Real American Hero. Just
Ewoks versus Jawas comic book would blow the F up. I'm telling you right now. It would blow the fuck up. It would be the greatest thing ever done. Yeah.
Phil Donnelly notes that cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It is.
So Real American Hero, Joe Slapsky.
Yeah.
Well, we still got a few minutes.
I love it. I love Mooneyham. I love his art. Like,
yeah.
Killing it. More of him. Please never leave the book. It's great. And the sub art's also been great. It's a rougher style. I think that works really well for that. The Cobra Civil War, we've seen it before, but it's fun with zombies and grossness. I love Destro on a rampage with Zartan and the Joes just being like, get him. That's great. That's great. I think that's really a lot of fun.
Should we go in there? Not yet.
Yeah. No. Hold on. It's weird seeing Snake Eyes talk, but I mean that in a good way, because I also think that Larry's smart enough to keep it very sparse, Yeah. So so in moments where they're all there and Snake is kind of in a leadership position, it's not him that's speaking.
Yeah.
Someone else speaks up and says the thing. So I think that's really
right. Well, I mean, he
character-wise, that just makes so much sense because he's not used to talking, that he wouldn't be super verbose.
I don't think he was a real chatty guy to begin with, So
he wasn't a big talker then, and then the last story time 12 or 15 years he had been alive, he couldn't speak, so he's not going to say a whole lot.
Right.
He's not so suddenly going to become Joe Slepsky under the mask.
Hey.
It's
I'm like that. I forget what his name was, but from G.I. Joe Extreme, the Snake Eyes character, they flipped it and made him super verbose. That's me.
Right.
And yes, Diana, Paul Pelletier, I love his stuff. I've loved his stuff for a long time. Like, I love seeing him on G.I. Joe. He draws the biggest jaws. His mouths are so wide, they're like largemouth basses. I love it. Check it out. Next time you see a Paul P drawing, he's like, every figure's got like, It's great. It's great,
Ra-
though. I love it.
Rack time, Rob.
Yeah.
Black Dragon. Yeah.
Your
Was
thoughts?
it Black Dragon? I thought it was Shadow Dragon. Anyway. My thoughts: do not mess with Destro.
Mhm.
He's single-handed. Basically, you've got Cobras fighting all over the place, and he just we're done with this now.
Yeah.
Dropping large implements of destruction on a fake Cobra commander and Serpentor Khan, and then goes out and gets the real Cobra commander. I will drag you out of here.
Mm-hmm. That's so good.
Oh, the one question I had about Energon. Sorry, let's turn the page back real quick. We know in issue 7, we're going to get a story that focuses more on the unseen half of the Joe team. We know it's going to be a story that has Flint and Lady J and a debuting Beachhead. So
The secret team.
Who do you think? Give me 3 Joes you want to see fill out the rest of the roster on the secret General Hawk G.I. Joe team.
Chuckles.
Okay.
Low light.
Okay.
Scoop.
So are those just like your 3 favorites, or are you just wanting to see somebody to film Ewoks getting butchered?
Chuckles makes sense because you got you're undercover. Low light makes sense because you always need a nighttime sniper, and Scoop in a modern era could be all about misinformation, like a modernized Energon Universe version of Scoop. It's all about disinformation and spreading you fake news, to the enemy. So he Scoop an Energon version of Scoop, I think actually would be a pretty powerful tool of theirs that they may not want people to know they have, because they could control a lot of public opinion either way from what Scoop's up to. Yeah,
I think you're right. I don't think that they would necessarily put him as part of the field team, though.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not field team. But,
that's certainly an element of things, but I could see him being technically, by all appearances on the outside.
Yeah. Well, then if we're talking field team, then it's the SWAT team guy. What's his name?
Shockwave.
Yeah, give me a good Shockwave. Street urban assault, kind of dude. That'd be cool.
Rack time, Rob. What do you think?
All right. These guys strike me as more of a Black Ops. So, which I'm not sure how Beachhead fits in there, but yeah, I think Chuckles is a definite one in there.
You get the best there is at what he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking maybe she's too new for this, but Helix. And this could be the spot where you throw in Snake Eyes.
That's what I'm thinking too, actually. I think this is maybe where Snake Eyes makes his grand debut. Like this other team gets itself into some trouble, and Snake Eyes is the one that bails them out. Because I mean, who's better than Beachhead and Super Buff Flint and Lady J? Well, Snake Eyes is better than those guys. So
yeah.
I mean, maybe that's where he pops in.
I wouldn't be
surprised. Greg Augustin throwing shock or Psych Out there. There too, yeah. I can see Psych Out being a part of things. I don't necessarily see him as part of a field team. That was more the direction I was thinking. So I was thinking, with again a Snake Eyes debut. Low Light seems to fit that sort of mood, and then of course, the guy holding it all together at the base. I think this is where we get Breaker.
Oh, nice.
I was thinking maybe Mainframe.
Maybe.
Let me just throw this out there. I was thinking maybe Dial Tone. What?
I think it's time to mute Joe again.
Ah! Zoot they won't let me back into Paris.
Oh, no.
No!
All of a sudden, we have Jacques Lafleur with Volcano Van.
Oh no, we destroyed the Eiffel Tower. I can never go home again.
So before we run too long, Joe Slevsky, you specifically ran away from the camera 90 seconds before the show started.
Yeah.
To get something to show off for what we got in.
Yeah.
Why don't you show that to us now?
You got it. So part of my Klingon Smith inspired Spurge. So I finally got me a Duke because I realized I only had really only had one Duke in my collection. So I was like, I need to get
the 84 Duke.
Yeah, the OG Duke. Yeah, I was like, wow, I have a dearth of Dukes in my collection.
Well, if you're gonna get one,
I mean, if you're gonna get one, you're gonna get the one that looks like he's a Centurion bad guy.
Right.
Like these aren't even human proportions. But I am personally a sucker for this silly stuff. It's all the stuff I disliked when I was a kid. Like I didn't like this. This turned me off. I'm an absolute sucker for this. And then here's my Battlecore Flint that I got in the mail during my journey. I like him.
I dig that.
I like it. Yeah, he's a good looking figure. He's got a little Dusty vibe. You know, which is what a lot of that stuff reading those books. It's a lot of what I suspected of, like they come up with a character and then be like, oh, we need to assign a name and just transfer it over.
Right.
But not more importantly, but this just came in this week. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. I've not opened it yet, only because I don't have a place to put it, and I don't want them to get everywhere. I've got the GI Jokes stickers I guess they're from you guys familiar with these from a couple years back, I guess? No. Oh, Google it. So this dude does Cabbage Patch. They're Cabbage Patch inspired stickers.
Right.
And they're exactly what you would think they would be, so it's
they're more Garbage Pail kids.
So they're the Garbage Pail.
Garbage Pail. Pardon. Yeah, Garbage Pail. So it's Bow, Torch, Scarlet, Fever, Beached, Fred. And he does, this is a 90 card set. Magic marker art.storeenvy.com. He did a bunch of Transformers. I found it a couple weeks ago. He did a bunch of Transformers stuff that's all sold out. He did some He-Man stuff, sold out. Like one of the only sets that he still has is literally this. And it's selling fast. So I don't know how old these are or how long they've been out, but the stuff I saw on the site is awesome. So I can't wait to kind of dig into this until I get a proper, booklet to hold everything so it doesn't get everywhere. But these are awesome. And it's $50 for the set, but they're great. Like the ones I saw are hilarious.
It's 90 pieces of art. So
yeah. Well, I think it's like 45. And then there's, how you remember they used to do that with the Garbage Pails, where it would be the same picture, but they would basically have another joke they wanted to tell with it. So they would do a variant version of them. I think that's what these are. I think there's like 45 pictures and then there's 45. Oh, but also here's another version of the joke I wanted to tell. Yeah.
45 B-sides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they're great. It's so that was exciting. So if you guys aren't familiar with this, check it out, because everything else on his site is sold out. So get on it quick.
Yeah, send that site over and I'll put it in the notes when we're done here tonight.
Yep.
What else you get in, Joe?
Oh wow. I mean, yeah. I got more.
He's scrambling.
I got more. Oh, hold on. Well, yeah, no. I got scrambling. They're all sitting there.
All right. While he's fetching that, Rob, what'd you get in?
Really? Nothing.
I got nothing this week. I spent too much on silly robots last week, so I got nothing this past week.
I have got that Teen Titans book in. That's about it.
All right, we'll get Joe back. He's back in his chair.
Night Creeper.
Ninja Force Night Creeper.
I'm telling you, I'm putting together a complete Ninja Force card set. That's what's happening.
I believe you.
You're going to get robbed by Pixel Dan.
And it's funny. I was so like, basically my kryptonite is late night, laying in bed with my iPad, going on eBay and forgetting that I buy things. So I end up with 2 dojos. 2 dojos, but I justify it because the one dojo comes with a special collector card sticker and the other dojo does not.
Oh, well, the variant.
That is two different things then.
So that was how I justified not just flipping it and reselling it on eBay. How about a Battlecore Metalhead? Bang, bang.
That's the one with the very very divorced dad haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. He definitely looks like he's spending the night at the No-Tell Motel down the street until his wife quote just gets over it and lets me come home. And then I got construction worker Outback too.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's the winner.
Yeah. He's construction worker Outback. It's always made me laugh.
That was originally supposed to be an Eco Warriors.
Yeah, well, I don't. It originally was supposed to put up girders on the Sears Tower, is what it was supposed to be doing. It's 100% that. So yeah, so that's the kind of stuff. So if anyone here on this call, like runs a eBay store, and all of a sudden in the last couple of months you've been like, well, who's been buying all my random nobody Joe figure? It's me.
Who's been buying the crap I can't get rid of?
It's totally been me. You show me a carded figure for under $50, I will pull the trigger.
Construction worker Outback is almost ready to fight dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh yeah. He's getting ready.
He's almost.
Yeah.
Almost there.
I've not seen an under $40 card of Joe that I haven't said, sure.
I mean, really, to be quite honest, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
So again, how many nights in a row on the couch? I'm.
She doesn't know. She goes to sleep before I do.
Oh man.
So I'm in there. I got my picture. This is a beautiful visual. I got my CPAP going. I got my dogs crunching up on me. I got my glasses off, so I have to have the iPad, like, not even joking, like this close to my face to even see anything. And I'm going, Joe, search carded.
Bart with a great question.
Yeah.
Nothing in giraffe pants.
Oh, I wish.
Giraffe pants leatherneck. Come on.
I wish.
Yeah, fly fishing bazooka.
Oh, but actually, on a real note, I was very excited. I was able to finish my original 13. I never had a Cobra Trooper, just Cobra. Never had one of those. So I finally got one of those. I got a nice version of that. Spent a little money on that. Yeah, and I had a Cobra Officer growing up. I never had the Cobra, and then I replaced my Grunt. I still have my Grunt. He's in pieces and like missing, and like he's like a mutant. Like it's like Quato. He's gonna be like release the air on Mars. It's gonna be like that. So I still have him, but I refreshed my Grunt situation. So I finally have all the OGs, and I'm very happy with that.
Wow, never had a Cobra Trooper.
No, never did. I had Cobra Commander
the
and
the guy who was on the shelf longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't an army builder, so like he looked like cannon fodder to me. I wanted character,
Well,
I
he
wanted
was,
dudes,
but,
right? But I'm like, I wanted dudes. Like I wanted people with character. I didn't just want some random soldier. I was never into that stuff.
Even as a kid, I wanted to army build, and then I would get to the store and see somebody different and be like,
Yeah. So, I distinctly remember when the Viper came out. I remember being like, finally, I have just a regular Cobra Trooper. Not mentally processing that there was one out there. It just didn't look as cool as the Viper.
I guess I always thought myself more of a Cobra Trooper guy than a Viper guy, and then somewhere along the way I got like 25 Vipers. So I guess I'm more of a Viper guy. Again, you see one of them for kind of cheap, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna pick that up.
Yeah,
the Viper, you can't have too many of them.
I love the look of that Viper. That figure is that's all time. Yeah, he's a good looking figure, man.
Pretty great. So while we're going to keep this in the neighborhood of 2 hours, Joe Slepsky, why don't you go ahead and give us shout outs?
Shout out to my friends at Comics Mexico, the best comic book shop in Mexico City, and to all my Lucha Libre friends. Yeah, to all my luchador friends. Hold on. I would like to say thank you for entertaining me. And
oh Jesus, there we go. Like, now put the glasses back on.
Luchador excitement. This is what it's all about. A Chicago Bears luchador mask.
Wow.
I had to take out my earbuds so I can't actually hear you right now. I bought every single one of these they had at the market. They had a bunch of football ones, and they were 100 pesos, which in US dollars is $4.50 fucking cents.
Oh my
I bought
God.
every single one and I passed them. I could only find 3, but I was prepared to buy all of them and pass them out to all my friends that we were with. So there were multiple Chicago Bears luchador masks, and this is my new look.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It's time to restart the Santo film series.
Yeah.
That is very that is a Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Chicago, don't wear it too often because it's probably lined with lead.
Oh, totally. I'm sure. I was like, I can't without my glasses. I can't see crap. So, yeah. But it's so good. Yeah, I'm like, of course I'm gonna buy every Bears luchador hat. I would have bought. They didn't have any Cubs ones. I would have bought all those too. So.
Who else you got, Joe Klepsky?
Shout out to my wife. Shout out to all my listeners. Thank you for going on this journey with me. We're doing a little shift in the show coming up right now, basically, and I appreciate, man, each and every one of you guys. You're amazing.
Why don't you tell everybody who maybe doesn't tune in every week to tell them about?
Well, just I've been doing it 9 years, and it's funny. Right around this time, the first go round, I got a little weary, and so I'm a little weary. So I'm taking a little stepping back from the weekly grind. So I will be coming back. The show will stay live. That'll be it. But there's no episode dropping tomorrow, and then I'll probably do it in a week or so. But it'll be more every couple weeks, because I got some other creative ideas for both podcasts, non-G.I. Joe, and also for the podcast that I just want to kind of focus on. And the weekly grind it's just you guys know we've talked to it, and not asking for any pity. It's just that it just gets to you. So
yeah.
There's a few things I talk about it on my show this last week. There's just a few things I want to wrap up as far as what I cover for my show, and I will do those. But we're just gonna and actually I got more creative style things, more like Cold Slither and GI Columbo, that I want to really actually focus on, and it's harder to do that when you have to hustle for interviews and figure all that stuff out. So yeah. So I'm excited though. And frankly, I'm excited to do this non-G.I. Joe thing that I've been tossing around with my buddy. So we're gonna see how that turns out. I'll tell you what that is when we get closer.
9 years is kind of a long time, so I understand.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been great though. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's reinvigorated. It's for real reinvigorated. I've always loved G.I. Joe. Always had a soft spot for G.I. Joe, but you drift. You just get away from it, And man, has it reignited my love for this thing, and I've learned so much more, and there's still so much more to learn, and all that, all that good stuff. Like, gristle. I got a gristle. I didn't know gristle existed.
Oh my God.
I was like, you name a dude gristle?
He is tough to chew.
I am buying him tomorrow. I got a gristle, guys.
I mean, he does normally get trimmed off the old 96er.
Yes. So yeah. So anyway, so shout out to all those good people and my wife and my friends. Oh, and to Michael Charles Hill. Congratulations on all this Cold Slither love, man. I really, really excited for him, with this year. I think this is going to be a big year for him with Cold Slither and all that stuff. I'm very excited for that. And I'll be at Joe Fest. So, I'm sorry, Transformer Con next week. So if anyone's listening, is going to be at TF.
A big difference, Joe.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm actually thinking about Joe Fest. I was going to reach out to you about that.
Okay.
Just to see what your schedule is if you guys are going. It's a little harder for me to get there, but I'm crafting some things, so we'll see.
All right. Rock time, Rob.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. What were you saying?
Oh no. I was just gonna say, if everyone goes to my eBay page and buys a bunch of my crap off eBay, maybe I'll be at Joe Fest. That's all.
Well, yeah, but
that's not
a lie. That's not a lie. Anyways, rack time, Rob.
Shout out to the studio audience. Thanks for coming back and listening. and watching and all that other good stuff.
Right. If the long hiatus, the 2-month hiatus didn't turn you off, you came back last week, and then after that garbage, you came back again. First off, I'm worried about you, and second off, thank you. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, that's it.
Sorry, I too was working a bit. I'm going to reiterate Rob's shout out to our audience. Thank you so much for catching us here on the live stream. If you're catching us on delay on recording, we love you too. You count just as much. And to our audio listeners, if you're waiting until Sunday or Monday of next week, thank you too. Whatever you do, please make sure you take a visit over to our YouTube channel and be sure to like and subscribe and do all that cool YouTube stuff. Leave a big boy comment down below. All that stuff helps drive that algorithm. Somehow we came out of the hiatus with more subscribers than we went into it with. Two months of not doing shows, and we have more subscribers.
They like you more when you shut up.
All right.
Exactly.
How can you love me if I'm always running away?
They won't miss us until we go.
But so I know you're listening to me when I say these things. So please just humor the old man and just click buttons. It's free. It's quick. It's easy. And you'll be amazed how good you feel afterwards. I want to give a special shout to our wonderful friend, Joe Slepsky.
Hey.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you always for having me on. I really enjoy this.
I'm pretty sure you need to watch out because Phil Donnelly is in the Los Angeles area. And he may be plotting your death. He may be plotting your death.
Listen, at this point, it's welcome. It's welcome.
You get off my sub job, Joe.
Make it swift.
And to our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We'll sing the theme song real quick. Kokomo Toys.
Kokomo Toys.
And that's all we got. That's all we've already run long. I cut the entire community calendar segment out of the show, and we still go 2 hours. We're loose. We had to talk about Ewoks versus Jawas.
Nub.
Dub, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly it. That's exactly it. But you can't say motherfucker in a Marvel comic. Oh my God, I just knocked over all my Joes.
Oh, Jesus. You kind of earned that.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why they're in protective cases so that they don't get hurt.
As our friend,
but they take up 3 times the amount of space. I know, but now they're protected.
As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. Be sure to join us again next week for another wonderful, long episode of What's on Joe Mind. We'll see you then. Have a great rest of the week. And yo, Joe. Keep waving. I have to hit the button.
No.
Smash that button.
Thank you.